We're on best Strand game. This is a nice way to end it. You can see David's super excited about this one.
All right.
Honestly, I have a terrible headache. It just has gotten worse. I don't know what's up. But
can we define Strand?
I'm going to do Stranded Deep as my nomination.
Nope.
Nope.
Stranded Deep, did that come out this year?
Well, did Death Stranding?
No, not at all. No.
No.
Overruled.
Yeah, it came out in 2015, Greg. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. I was just saying Strand because it came out on PS4 2 years ago. So are you talking about the PC port?
No.
The PS5 upgrade.
Oh, the PS...
the director's cut.
Oh. Right. All right. Well, yep. Just hit the gavel. Moving on. Best Strand game.
This should be short.
Okay, so we're here. Everyone's super excited to be giving this award out for the I don't know how many at the year. Is this 4 years in a row?
Too many.
I think it's 3. I think it's 3.
Yeah, it's 3 years in a row. This has lasted so much longer than I could have expected.
Remember last year I predicted...
Gotta drag that game out, man. It cost millions of dollars to make. It's like Skyrim. You gotta keep releasing it.
This game to Skyrim.
You gotta keep releasing it on multiple platforms, director's cut, DLC.
Skyrim is good.
That's very rude of you to put Skyrim in the category.
Skyrim is much better.
It's not a Strand game, Greg. Strand-based games are very specific in their gameplay.
Yes. Skyrim didn't let me see Boondock Saints hog in the shower over and over, though.
Death Stranding didn't do that either.
I would have made a.
It was heavily implied.
It was implied.
I would have made a case to skip this category this year if they didn't add so much to the director's cut. I'm like, they're actually doing stuff with this. What is happening?
Yeah, this is Strand Game of the Year.
Oh, Stranded Deep came out for Nintendo Switch this year, so I'm nominating that.
Stranded Deep.
Yeah.
Okay. Greg, really pulling down into the depths of the.
Gonna try to overrule this game to get on this nomination.
Greg, your concept is a whole misunderstanding.
There you go.
Please, okay, we're drawing this out, and it is physically painful.
All right, let's get out of TJ and Asif's way.
Okay, TJ, go ahead. Nominate your game.
Okay, I've been waiting for this all year because there is one contender. There is a contender.
Stranded Deep.
And it's a good contender.
Possible.
It's a very good contender. It's a game called Cozy Grove. This was an indie game that came out earlier this year, in which you play as a camper that arrives on this tiny island of spirits. And your purpose here is to restore this island by aiding these spirits, which are unable to move on to the other side because of something that's holding them back. And you do that by you build your campsite, you deliver things to these spirits, you help them recover their memories, and you build these bonds with them over time. And the more you build your bond with them, the more they remember, the more they invite you into their stories, the more they invite you into their lives, like this daily routine. And eventually, this tiny island, you rebuild it out into this vast landscape of beautiful stuff. And it's very Animal Crossing, in which you build up your campsite, you collect your own stuff, you go fishing, and it, what's another thing about it is that it also doesn't waste your time. There's not so much that you can do. There's only so much you can do in one game in this day, and one day. It actually limits you on the activities that you can take part in.
Stardew aspect to that, or even Animal Crossing.
And then things go on sort of a timeline where you actually have to come back on a real life next day to it'll be some people have forgotten stuff that they need time to remember, or there'll be fruits or different vegetation that grows back over time. And that's very Animal Crossing as well. But doesn't really waste your time. But you also
Right there, you lost me because Death Stranding's just a huge waste of time.
TJ, I have a question for you. A legitimate question. Is your character's name Bond Spirit Camper?
It isn't, unfortunately. But you do have a fireplace named fireplace named Flamey.
You have to deliver packages in this.
I mean, you have to deliver stuff to people over time, and there is a mailman spirit that has you deliver things around the
bridges
island.
for the spirits to literally cross over to the other side.
You don't.
Is there some kind of fugazi internet that you have to connect people
I can already see where David's going with this.
It's just the fact that you like build bonds with all of these characters, and over time you build out this island that just starts as this very small thing.
Here's a counterpoint, though. Sam Porter Bridges kind of hates almost everyone that he encounters in Death Stranding.
Well, your character doesn't really have your character doesn't really talk in this, so they don't have a necessary their
you just
own
won my vote.
They don't have their own necessary personality to actually emote and take part in these people's lives, but those people appreciate them because of the bonds that they're building.
Does this game have a trebuchet that you can shoot cargo with?
No.
I didn't think so.
But let's talk about something else here, because this is another part of I don't hate Death Stranding. I have never hated Death Stranding. I think it's an extremely interesting concept. And I've actually I would say that besides Asif, I've probably played further in that game than anyone else on staff.
That is not in my favor.
But I think that the director's cut actually added things that made Death Stranding not as fun. And not necessarily in the fact that you have to take part in those games, but combat is the worst part of Death Stranding. And they expanded all of it into a full VR mission mode.
Can I give you a logical counterpoint, TJ? This category was created for Death Stranding, and I'm only going to tolerate 5 hills that you die on through these deliberations, and this is one.
Okay.
So this is one of your 5 hills, man. If you want to die on it, but
they expanded combat into worse combat. They expanded driving into worse driving.
But you notice how his nomination turned into
I want to expand
on Death Stranding.
I want to expand on Bill's point that I've learned the folly of arguing against this category last year because there's such a specific criteria for it. I could argue that Lake is a Strand game. But to Asa's point, what's her name, Meredith or whatever her name is, she likes everybody. She likes people she deals with, and that's not Sam Porter Bridges.
Yeah.
And to add to TJ's point, there's so much about the director's cut that's baffling to me. Why did they add a racing element to this? Who was asked for this?
Because Kojima cannot be stopped. Someone has to fucking stop him.
He's not astonished.
He's a monster. He's a monster.
I was astonished when they announced this because I was like, wait a second.
What did they cut?
This implies they let him cut something. This implies that there is actually an edit. There was more, and they cut it down, and that's what they got. It was Death Stranding.
Fucking A.
I want to expand on David's point now because I love that. We're gonna look back at Death Stranding one day and be like, "This is pure, unfiltered Kojima." This is David to make a wrestling point. To make a wrestling point, there are people that book WWE or WCW back in the day that are really good when they have a filter, and when they don't have a filter, things go off the rails and it becomes weird.
He has never had a filter. Imagine if WWE is booked like it is today, always. That is Hideo Kojima. Every now and then he gets it right. Metal Gear Solid 2 was great. Metal Gear Solid 3 was less great. And then since then, it's been one prolonged train wreck that is a cutscene that will never end.
And yet it's really fascinating to watch. I'm really interested in as an outside observer. This is so fascinating to look at. Racing. He added racing to this. Why?
He expanded bad vehicular gameplay.
All I can think of is the meme from Breaking Bad with Jesse Yar. He can't keep getting away with this.
That is it, Sam. Also, Bill, Unfortunately, TJ cannot die on this hill because if we have Death Stranding's mechanics, he will never make it up that hill. So it's a moot point.
I've got a piece of paper with TJ's name on top, and he's getting 5 notches. And when he's out, that's it.
Look, part of Death Stranding is basically being the nihilist Arby's of video games, and Cozy Grove is just far too cute. Like, existence is pain in Death Stranding. Like, it's game.
So there's a nihilist.
Is that the a requirement of the Strand?
That's my box quote for Death
Yes,
Stranding.
it
The
is.
requirement of the Strand game is that you're called Death Stranding.
But the core component of Death Stranding is building connections and expanding a broken world back into something that works. And that's like what made it good to me, that's what made it awesome to me. The part where you expand the things that aren't part of that pisses me off, and I don't think it should be rewarded.
I love how seriously and how much integrity you put into this vote, but
I actually appreciate it because this is the most passionate I've been all night. So I'm here for it.
Next year, guys, when this comes out for Xbox Series X, we're gonna have this debate again. And then it's gonna come out on Switch Pro in 2023.
And then
it'll come out on PC before it comes out on Series X. If he can do half of this wackiness on Switch, then I'll give him a round of applause. I'll give him a standing O.
If this thing somehow works on Switch, it's gonna get.
If something other than Death Stranding wins, we will have cemented the Strand genre as a legitimate genre.
Yeah.
What a time capsule this game is.
What a time capsule.
It's like when you open it and it just lets out like a stink bomb. Like
bees.
Somebody
Cozy
farted
Grove
in a time
deserves
capsule.
consideration. It was one of it's up there in like the high mark of my top indie games of this year for just how different it is from everything else I played in the indie scene. It made me, the limitation on what you can do in a day made me want to go back every single day and see what was new with these characters and how I could help them or how I was going to get closer to expanding this world.
Go ahead, TJ.
And that made it like that made it an actual powerful experience for me in a way that I liked about Death Stranding when I played through it. And
serious question, which I know I said last time that was a lie, but this is not a lie. Do you feel that Cozy Grove executes on that central conceit of building connections better than Death Stranding? Do you feel it gets to the crux of that better?
I think that at their core,
no.
Like I do actually. I like the bonds that you build in Cozy Grove a lot. Like there was legitimately parts of Cozy Grove where like you think it's this chipper game, but these are all ghosts. They died at some point, and so sometimes you come across parts of their story that are just like, oh, that's upsettingly
really
heavy.
Depressing.
And like that is
it's like when you read a Pokédex entry. Like you're playing a game like Pokemon, you read a Pokédex entry, and suddenly it gets really dark, really fast. Like
the game does get that.
That's the origin of this thing.
Yeah.
I will say this, TJ. I don't know if you're gonna win, but what you have done is build a foundation for Cozy Grove in many other categories. I would think.
I'll give you that.
No, I actually think he's done more than that. Like that, his points legitimately speak to me. Death Stranding is supposed to be a game about building connections, but you have to wade through so much dross to get to it, and it sounds like Cozy Grove does that so much more efficiently and poignantly. And I know Osif's laughing.
Sam. I see you nodding.
Because Sam is a very wise and erudite man, and knows that this is true.
There's a ton of moments. Like, there's a lot of gameplay in between the cutscenes.
No, I'm not talking about gameplay. I'm talking about the being able to get to what TJ said about building those bonds with characters without having to wade through a lot of everything else around it.
I honestly think that if you have not played Death Stranding, sure, that's a very easy claim to make.
How many times have you finished it?
I haven't, because they made me abort a dead baby, and I was like, I'm out for now. Like
I've never heard you. That is your reason until now. You have texted me.
I texted you want me to find the screenshot of our text conversation the day that I had to do that?
You can do that, and I will show you your text of all the other reasons you bounced off that game not once but twice.
I bounced off the shooting component, which TJ is right. The shooting is the worst part of that game. Second worst part of that game, the vehicles.
Good thing they expanded those.
I don't
Actually,
understand
Asif,
why he did either of those things.
that plays to your point.
The catapult. I do.
That plays to your point, Asif. Asif, that plays to your point, though. Aren't you the one who's been kind of pushing this view that Kojima is just a troll? Like,
yes.
you know.
Yes, I think this game is a troll. I think the entire game is him just taking it out on gamers. Like
It is.
It's like, you finally unlocked the tricycle or whatever whatever the bike thing is, Sam. Like I can't remember what it's called, but like whatever
power trike, whatever it is.
Power trike. You unlock it. You like finally get it, and it's just this field of rocks in front of you, and you can't go 3 feet without hitting a rock.
It is a troll.
This game is a troll, and then this DLC is just more of a troll. He's like, "Oh, you hated the vehicles? How about a racing mode?" It's like, to Sam's point, like he really did go. He like doubled down on this troll aspect, and that's why I go back to this game being the nihilist Arby's of video games. It truly is. And like,
why reward that? Is my question.
My Shack colleagues, I'm asking you to stand with me today.
Why reward that?
And put the last nail in. I know, Bill.
If we somehow vote for something other than Death Stranding for this category is going to live next year. It's going to be around next year.
It sure is.
That's the dichotomy I'm facing here. Like,
wins next year. How about that?
I think the Stranding genre should start and end with Death Stranding. I don't think it's legitimate. I don't think it's legitimate. I think he just created this genre, and when people are like, "Yeah, okay, it's a Strand game," but like, and I understand what we're doing here, but it's like,
you question the integrity of the genre.
It's an open world game where you deliver stuff. It's just.
I want us to stop them, and it's going to be us, and it's going to happen right now.
I say this wiping tears from my eyes. Like, I say this with all sincerity. Like, we make so many mountains out of molehills in this category, and in all honesty, I look forward to it every year. I do too.
I do too. So much fun. It's the nihilist Arby. Austin's right.
I just want to add a caveat to what I said, though. If it is a legitimate genre, I think it should reward a game like Cozy Grove that is more enjoyable to play and has those connections that TJ was talking about. Like, it's about doing those connections.
Part of being a good Strand game is not being enjoyable.
Wow, okay.
He's got a point.
It's the best category. Somehow. It's the best category.
It is the best category, and you know what's amazing is that Denny didn't believe how crazy this category got, and we showed him last year's video, and now he's living it.
Yeah.
Welcome to hell.
Welcome to the best Strand game, Denny.
We should have been prepared for this level of controversy.
I think we should vote soon, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I think. Are there any other nominations? Right now, there's Stranded Deep, Cozy Grove. I'm nominating Death Stranding Director's Cut.
I've told you exactly why I'm not nominating Lake for this, even though it technically checks some of the boxes, because it has to check all of the boxes, and nothing checks all of the boxes quite like Death Stranding.
That was interesting, Ozzy, because I was thinking Lake as well.
Actually, TJ, does Cozy Grove have grenades made out of feces?
It does not have grenades made out of
feces. That's a huge negative for me.
Doesn't check on the list.
Stand with me.
Does Cozy Grove
really an abortion as much as it was just I don't know, you have to play the game. But it was like a super long mission that ends in a downer, and I was like, yep, that's Kojima just
Kojima-ing all over the place.
It just Kojima's you so hard.
What's that? Donovan, there's that
quote. 2025 by the time I finish that game.
Donovan, there's that quote about creativity.
Anyway. So.
Metal Gear Solid 2 was one of the greatest games of all time. It's also 20 years old.
Yeah, right.
If the requirement for a Strand game is that you have to feel terrible whilst playing it and it's going to be unenjoyable, then I know what I'm voting
like
for.
Bill Murray in any movie.
Bill Murray in any movie is like a Strand game?
He just looks like he hates every movie he's in. Like, he doesn't want to be there. Like, every movie he does, he just looks miserable.
But perfect example of that, The Man Who Knew Too Little. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, Greg.
No. I think I have. I really forget about it.
Highly recommend it. He carries that thing. That movie's terrible, but Bill Murray makes it good. So, yeah.
He's great in Wild Things as well.
Wait, Asif, to your point, there are ghost birds in that game that you add to your campsite as pets, and you feed them. And a part of your resource gathering throughout the day is feeding them what they want. So they'll poop out resources that you can use to either finish quests or build upon your camp.
There's ghost poop.
You're saying there's ghost bird poop.
Uh-huh. And you use it to build more resources.
I'm not denying that this game is a Strand game. I actually accept your thesis that this is a Strand game. I question that it's better than Death Stranding Director's Cut. Being a Strand game.
This is so wrong because now you've almost I can't. You're breaking. I don't even know what's the
positional logic is just off the charts right now.
You have Kojima'd me.
Yeah, it's a Strand game, but is it a Strand game?
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna redefine this category.
And we're gonna be in a Death Stranding cutscene the whole time.
I guess it boils down to
It turns out we're all clones of Metal Gear Solid.
I guess it boils down to the fact that I see values of the Strand identity, the building of connections, the building out of bonds, the expanding the world around you into a working area. I value those things. But also I can see what you're talking about with this Death Stranding itself is a troll, and it continues to be more of a troll the more that you go into it. But I don't know. I want to value the good things because I want other games to explore that concept like Cozy Grove did and expand that idea further. I want to reward good things that do good games that do good things with those concepts.
Well, this is a terrible category for rewarding good things.
We're gonna turn it around, TJ. Believe. Even.
Okay. I think we should vote.
Yes, to do this.
So we have 3 nominations: Cozy Grove, Stranded Deep, Death Stranding Director's Cut for Strand Game of the Year 2021.
Greg, you son of a bitch.
I'll follow David's lead.
Okay, Cozy Grove.
Cozy Grove.
Wait, I didn't ask you, Greg.
That's how impassioned we are. We're so impassioned to vote.
His argument is so solid, I can't deny it.
Okay, Denny, what you got?
Sadie, what are you doing?
You know, I'm gonna stand out there with TJ on the Grove as an influencer. They gave me a copy, and I had a good time.
Oh, so you're voting for this because they gave you free stuff.
Oh,
I see our up the count. Okay.
I splash in my first category, with these nominations this time around. So,
Denny, you've just voted for the AEW of this category. I salute you.
Donovan, I know you're going to vote for Cozy Grove because you hate Death Stranding.
Yeah, Cozy Grove. TJ just convinced me with his argument. I don't know what to say.
It's happening.
What's happening?
It's happening.
This can't happen. TJ, you're obviously voting for Cozy Grove here.
They shouldn't have expanded on Death Stranding with things that made it worse, or else I would be less inclined.
They did not make it worse. This is not
they made it worse.
Look, the game has a trebuchet that you can throw cargo with. That's good. That's a good thing.
Death Stranding VR missions.
Yeah,
Death Stranding VR missions.
They added more combat vehicles. That's bad.
Yeah.
I will not reward that behavior. I will not reward 2/3 of the expansion being something that was already terrible in the original content. I believe in the Strand genre expanding positively, and I am voting for Cozy Grove.
You believe in a false idol.
False idol? Our Lord and Savior?
And there's nothing positive about Strand games. You guys have perverted the genre here.
I'm going to vote for Death Stranding on the virtue of it being called Stranding.
You could have made history, Ozzy, but instead you did this.
Ozzy!
I am going to vote for the game that was responsible for creating this category. I do not believe in not voting for the originator of a category until it is dead, and it is not dead.
I
I'm
can't wait
voting
for this
Death
game to
Stranding.
come out on Stadia, by the way, because I'm totally
No,
nominating it.
no.
For
25 years from now, when we've all forgot what Death Stranding is, we can vote for another
Stadia
game.
doesn't go under next year, so we have another Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
Bill.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't do that.
Donovan voted for Cozy
It's-
Grove because he
No,
hates
it's your
Death
namesake.
Stranding.
Your name
But-
is Sam.
I'm gonna have to vote for Death Stranding. 'Cause I
oh
hate Death Stranding.
no! It's starting.
Sam.
The snowball effect is real.
You guys, we had a chance here
We
to
did.
do something beautiful.
We did.
Yeah, I know.
I
but
kind of
we gotta.
want to see how the rest of this goes before I vote.
Blake.
I don't think so. It's
I
in
don't know
order,
how that
man.
works.
Chris.
It's in order.
Chris. You got to vote for this, Chris.
After hearing all of this and choosing not to speak during any of it, I'll
Crab-
cast my
crab-
vote.
Krabs made the right choice, by the way, just to stay out of it.
I'll cast my vote for Cozy Mouth.
Yeah.
Cozy Mouth.
See now.
He just, that's it. Our votes don't matter, Blake.
They
Dang.
never did.
What just happened? This is an upset of the year.
It's upset of the
People
year.
have spoken. We are the voice of
Call
the
Steve.
voiceless.
Somebody get Steve on the phone.
I cannot believe
Wow.
this.
This is a twist.
That we with a 6
did
to
it,
5
fam.
vote.
We did it.
I am so sorry, Kojima-san.
The evil has been defeated.
I
I did it, Mom.
It turns out Cozy Grove is just a Liquid Snake clone.
They're gonna
Well-
be so confused.
Turns out
They're gonna be like, "Wait, we won what at Shacknews?"
Well, it
They're
looks
gonna
like
watch this
Kojima.
video, They're
Might
gonna
be
watch
the-
this video and they're gonna feel bad. Almost
Yeah, they're gonna be like,
about
nope,
winning
don't
this.
retweet that. Don't mention that. Just let
They're
them
like,
have their
no,
thing.
we don't want.
They're gonna
this.
hear my argument, and they're gonna nod their head and say, "This guy gets it."
They're gonna
You know what?
hire you.
Wait,
I'm
TJ.
starting to think you guys don't even understand what a Strand game is.
TJ,
Oh,
that's
I
a
understand.
So,
Turning it
couple
around.
things- a couple things here. First of
I'm-
all, TJ, you're definitely writing this because you caused this problem.
Mhm.
And second of all, I am nominating this for an upgrade from blurb to article because a blurb does not do what just fucking happened here justice.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, we
This
have,
is no
we have
longer a
righted the
blurb.
ship.
I'm
This
We
is
have
taking
a
that
righted
blurb.
the
verdict.
ship.
It's an official article. It's gonna be tweeted from the Shacknews Twitter.
I'm taking
People
that
in the
verdict.
universe are gonna see this, and they're gonna.
By voting for
shake their
Cozy
heads.
Grove,
Yep.
you've just
It's
said that
gonna be
Kojima was
aggressive.
right in creating the Strand genre. So
I think
By
he
giving
was.
this- by giving this award to another game, you are just further perpetuating more Strand games in the
Mhm.
future.
That's
I want
okay
them.
though, because we're gonna
Yeah,
make
that's
them a
fine.
good thing.
TJ,
Yeah,
listen
listen,
to that,
that's
TJ.
fine.
All right, you can hurt us.
It,
Can't make
It
a
is-
good Strand game.
the impossible has become possible because TJ convinced me it exists.
I've never been more
He's-
disappointed in this team.
TJ just made himself eligible for Person of the Year.
Congratulations to Spry Fox. Cozy Grove is your Strand Game of the Year 2021 at Shacknews.
Oh,
And may God have mercy on
Oh,
all your souls.
Real applause there.